like this is not okay. So anyway, we got to page Kuftzadi Test. Let me make sure I got that right. I do. So we're going to read on number tests. We get a little water here. It's a mavor be'eza koich ne'eker zer anpin v'nishtal b'makom acher. Now, previously he used the word nishtal. I thought he said he meant he gets a name change. I thought that's what he said, but I might have been misapplied that. So he says zer anpin v'nishtal b'makom acher be'bechin netiyev b'sod v'pasa v'yita, etc. Canal. So he said we got that pasuk v'omar Hashem. And he says, Hey bein Yud l'Yud de Yehi. Zecher shena'asa yedecha b'ha'os Hey ha'omedes bein shtei Yudin shal milas Yehi. Noshbar the pardashka the Atika the Zera blows from Atika through the nose of Atika, which is Eric Anpin. Zera to Zera the Anpin, which is the Zera Anpin. Shehu sod neshivas ruach achotim the Eric Anpin an nikra partashka the Atika. V'shor shechal lamala b'binach shebekeser, and it's where is it actually located inside of Keser? There's a bina. Menen noshev ruach hayim, and from that chotem, the partashka, blows this ruach. I said before that we saw this previously, so that Rabbi Nachman has this idea of tarfu, which comes out to be the number of asmad plus kazakamagkana. These are the lights that are actually some kind of a light that's contained in that. All of that is genetic material that we're talking about that blows through the nose. And it blows through the nose to an object which is called Zer Anpin. So this idea, I'm still stuck on the idea of it being planted. That means if it was planted, it means that this is where you see it, but it existed before that. So if you take a seed, you have to put it into something, it had to come from somewhere. So that apparently is deeper than Eric Anpin or just the Bina of Eric Anpin we're talking about. Below Rucha Lo Yiskayim. Which makes this Natiya, makes this seedling, which is their Anpin, develop into a point where it could be planted. Because without this Ruach Chaim Elyon Shalachotem and nears the Os Hekanal, and Kim Vitikun the Zer Anpin. We know that. But here he's not talking about Behei Ishtakwa. He says, what is this? Because this letter Hey, which forms up in the nose of Eric Anpin, Hazos shall Ruach HaChotem, HaElyon de Eric Anpin, Yatsa Nukva de Zer, so he said, Yatsas Nukva de Zer Anpin, Yachav in Zer Anpin. From this, so it goes over to this idea, that it causes a shlemus in Zer Anpin by bringing the Nukva along with him. So as he's blown out through this nose, he becomes Zachor v'Nook. So she's also built like along him. She's also a seedling, a sapling. What's the right word? And b'var odin, we furthermore we see it like this: Ki inyan yitzias v'tikun hanukva ayidecha beruach hachoytev. So he's saying that the tikkun of the nukva is related to what's going on in the nose of Eric Anpin, which is the bina of Eric Anpin. Hachodesh amarno. He besod chiber bina malchus. This is the concept of joining bina and malchus, because without bina and going through that process, there is no malchus. That's what he seems to be saying. I had another question about this. I forgot what it is now. Shehem sod shtei osius heyin, these two letters heyin, v'omer he'iloh, ki ruach hachotem ha'elyon, the Eric Anpin, who besod os he'elyona, is the secret of the upper hay, shall midas yehi, shorsha yehi is the upper hay, let me see, he says of yehi, Sheshor shecha bebina al yonah bekesek canal. So that's the hay, but he says is an upper one. That's the upper hay. That's the hay that's in the word yehi. But there's also another hay, he says. V'hanukva he sod os hay tachtona shehi hay achrona shel shem avai v'nimseki min os hay el yonah debina shebekesek. Yotza v'desakta os hay tachtona de malchus. So this is showing you that the two of them have a very strong relationship. Now we also had previously the idea is mentioned about like in Yom Kippur, where Bina actually, Malchus actually goes and joins Bina. How that fits in, I'm not sure. V'harei kan Hebrew beis hahayin. So this we see there is a possibility of the two hayims coming together shall Bina and Malchus. That's it. V'zechu so the pasuk ata havaya elokim. So he says, you are Havaya, excuse me, I said Havaya, but Ata Adni, which is Malchus, and Elokim, which we said Menukad like that, which makes it into Bina. Pirish Midas Aha. Romas Lechibir Beis Osius Hayin shall Bina o Malchus. Vamba Vahemshak Apasuki Elu Shtei Hayin, Hemisod Shnei Shemos Adni Elokim. Ki Abdi and Elokim. Ki Malchus Nixer Adni Ubina is called Elokim. There's probably a lot more to be said about that, but we're moving on. So the next one says like this. He said, now it goes to this phrase, which looking at it up above, and let's just read it again. Bekitfui de Katvin. So first of all, we have no idea what Kitfui means if we don't look at the Pirish. Beruchas Sriva b'maskulin Yaakov. So then you have another concept. It's a ruach, which is bound in some way into a balance. So the balance is the middle line. And then it would appear, it seems like what it would mean is Yud K Vav, because now the Vav represents the balance scale. Yud Elor, so you have a Yud Elor, this Ata Bekitra. Again, that concept, I think we went over this last time, but there's lots of questions about it, that crowns itself or covers over this vapor or smoke, this kitra, the atika. He kruma, Lord, this is dake v'sasim. This is the kruma, we're going back into this again. What is this, this atara here, he says, is the kruma, the avira kruma ilor, that has two different parts. It seems to me because these are contradictory words, I think. He said this dakeh becomes very fine, but also it covers. So I would have think that it thought if I was writing this, I would have reversed those words. I would have had the sausim is dakeh, and that makes more sense to me. That it covers over the mochas timah de Eric Anpen, but then as a result of that, or whatever, it becomes more and more refined. But he didn't say it like that. He says first it becomes more refined, but it's a cover anyway. And we say that therefore that vapor, that smoke, goes up. So he said, hey Elor, that upper hay, this ate berucha de nukva de bardashka that covers over the rucha, which comes out of the nukva de bardashka de nafik la'achaya, that comes out in order for the purpose of bringing the life force. So let's read the, let's see, we have a couple minutes. Let's read what we can of the Pirush. If a kid for the Katvin, what the world does this mean? Besilcha Gogolta, he says Katvin is a lashon for Gogolta the Eric Anpin. Berucha beyotzim achoitim, Sriva the masculine, of the Keshach a masculine. Shuhu Hadas, which is Das, which is the middle line, Yaakov, becomes Yaakov. Me'irel and misatrin osius Yaakov, so it shines on, crowns over the letters Yud, K, and Vav. He said, so it says, what is that it's shining over, or it's crowning over, or I'm not sure, again, I'm really not happy with the word itra, but he's using it. So, Me'irin, ma'atrin, crowns over the osius Yud, K, and Vav. Sounds like it's panimi to them. Bekruma de Ravira, the Nikra Choitim, Of the Shesha Kitzvos, the goof Eric Anpin Kamoshi is bar, we'll talk about it more. Va'antach bevar ve'ine beprata va'amr yudi law, and it says there's a yud up above, right? And it is anta bekitra, covers over this smoke that's coming through. That's the reason why you had to say it was refined. It covers it over, but it apparently it's a little bit transparent. You can get through it, or something can get through it. Some vapor, he says. The isanta bekitra de antika os yud el yoda misanta or bekitra de erikanpin. So it's isanta kind of means panini. It came first, so therefore it's like a father type of thing. Maybe that is an explanation. Bekiter de erikanpin. And bevar heichon makom os yuda elyon. Where is it? Umahu inyan de kita ve'omar. He kruma the law. This is the kruma de vira. Ki os yuda elyon shalamarnu. He kruma elyon the sosim es muchas dimah, which covers over that muchas dimah. This dakek v'chakruma zech this dakek it becomes refined. A merova zikuch older kitter. So he says nizdakek means it's a passive tense. It becomes, or it's a participle. I don't know what you call it, but it's because it becomes refined. Now it means in what because that's an action verb nizdakek, like it wasn't refined and now it is. It becomes more transparent and fragrance goes through it, something like that. So whatever it is, all of the kitor memuchas limo de erik anpen v'yotze de erik hakrom. V'kitor chabezecha b'chul so the aras chochman de keser hanikra avira dakya. So he says the chochman of keser hanikra avira dakya. V'lechein nikra chabezecha b'krum b'shem kruma de vira. So that's why it's called that way. The sasim amam ikra ha'or shel hamor. That's what he wants to say. Doesn't get out. Stima nisher adayim sasim. I like the idea of it being a fragrance. This is like something almost not there, but it is. For Amr Od, it's like this. Hey, Lord, this antach of berucha de Nook for the pardashka de nafik da achaya. Os hey ha elyon mis antach of berucha b'shecha b'nikva chodim de irikanpen. The Misham Yatsa v'nimshak haruch the mata gedei lahakios azer anpen. V'ha'inyan hu shenikve hachotim de erik anpen heim sod os hey elyon. I don't know how it is that works out by the structure of the hay. You have two legs, one long, one short, and a top. I don't know. Elyon de erik anpen. That's bina. He says of erik anpen. Uv'nikavim eidach v'over ruach elyon yotza v'nimshak b'bechina v'bina shebekeser. So he said, "V'omer od vavi lo butzuni the kardanisa." There's something. Okay, so we have to stop here. I could read it out, so let me read it out because it's just another couple of lines. He gave me a couple of extra minutes here. So vavi lo butzuni the kardanisa. Os vava elyon shuhu b'pnim who's shisha kitzvos the erikanpin, which is inside of the 6 kitzvos of erikanpin. Shor shabadas shabakeser, it has a root on the das of keser. Hanikra butzine de kardanusa mitzad gevura sadas. And why is it called butzine de kardanusa? He says it's because it das has chasadim and gevuros. This is the constriction part, which is the gevuros, and he said butzine de kardanusa mitzad gevuros de das. This antach of the citroy, it becomes crowned. In other words, it covers over in its place. What does that phrase mean? These are hard words because crowning and on its side. What does that mean? V'os vav shal das. A mispash b'guf erik anpen. Misater b'shisha kitzvos elyonis shebeshora shadas, which are at the root of das. The shisha kitzvos elyonis shebeshora hadas. That last part, not so easy for me, so we're finishing here. This is Baruch Flashman, Tikkun Elevator Kolo.